Hello, hello everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so welcome everyone to the newest AMA with GeoPoly. Today there is Martin and Augusto from GeoPoly, and as always, Marcus, my dear teammate. So basically, I just want to say that for we are not part of Seedify. We work apart from Seedify, the Seedify HODLers, and we just like to make the projects show their faces so the community can ask and know what they are putting their money in. About Seedify, if you wanna take part of the in the IGOs, you need to hold at least 250 S funds for the lottery tier based tier, or 1,000 S funds to have a guaranteed location. And I don't want to bore anyone, so see if you are here, you must know already most all the things about City5 holders and City5. So I'll just let Martin and Augusto introduce themselves.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for having us here. It's a pleasure and also an honor to be here. And thank you for the possibility to talk with the community directly. So I will do a little intro about myself. My name is Martin Spinetto. I'm the founder and CEO of Widow Games. Widow Games is the developer behind GeoPoly. Okay. And a little bit about myself. I've been working in different corporations for almost 15 years in marketing and communication role. The last one was actually at Microsoft, where I used to be the marketing director for Latin America, managing online services like Messenger, Hotmail, MSN, stuff like that. And in 2012, I was crazy enough to quit everything and start a video games company called Widow Games. And we are super proud of the work that we have done with GeoPoly, and it's going to be, our biggest, most ambition, and the first blockchain game that we're launching on the platform. The game is already on Android, but now it's going to be with this new layer. So thank you very much for having us here, and I'm happy to answer all your questions.
Okay, thank you very much. What about you, Augusto?
Yeah, well, basically, my name is Augusto Carrero. I'm the lead game designer of GeoPoly. I joined the company 4 years ago, basically to start this project. So, yeah,
All right, so I guess we'll be
that's me.
directing like 90% of the questions to you, Augusto, and the rest to Martin.
Perfect.
All right, so let's start off about the main aspects. If you had to say to the people in a few sentences, like basically a short pitch, what would you say that a duopoly is about?
Okay. I will, taking into account that 99% of the question is going to be to Augusto, I will take this one. That will be my 1%. Now, if I have to define Geopoly, which is not that easy, I would say that for you to have an idea, the short explanation is that it's the perfect mix between the Pokemon Go and the Monopoly. Okay, that's one explanation. The longer explanation is that it's an economic simulator that allow users from all over the world to actually rent, improve, and buy real life businesses, okay, globally. Okay, so it basically, give us the players the ability to buy all the different businesses that exist in real life, and also now special occasions, and to create a business, a real estate empire based on that. Okay, to do good businesses. That's the game that we launched 3 years ago in Android. Then we are launching this month on iOS, and now we are building this new layer over with blockchain over the freemium game. So I would say that that is also a unique feature that Geopoly has, and it's really hard to find games that actually are doing that on these days. Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. So
Thank
if
you.
you have to compare to another blockchain game, what would you say that Geopoly does better, and what makes Geopoly outstand among the others?
Okay. That's a tough question because I do personally try not to compare the games because I mean it could be a sensitive issue, and we are all colleagues trying to do our best. But if I have to say that out there, what is already out there in the market that is kind of similar to Geopoly, I would say that Upland could be one of the first games that come to my mind in terms of buying real estate properties that actually exist on reality. Upland is about buying land plots, okay, real land plots, and we are about buying businesses, okay, and a special occasion. We are not land plots, so I would say that that's the main difference, and obviously it is a oversimplification, right? But I would say that that is the first one that came to my mind. Then Blocktopia hasn't been launched, but I believe that we have something in common with them. The Blocktopia is an amazing project as well. And Mars 4 is another project that came to my mind in terms of buying real estate, because it is real estate but based on Mars, okay, which is kind of interesting concept. They hasn't launched yet, but I'm building this metaverse on VR based on Mars, okay, buying land plots in this planet. So it's quite interesting, and I believe that there's a lot of games right now that are launching this value proposition on buying real estate. We have seen that for a really long time. What we did different is that we created the game on freemium first, using the GPS. So for us, it was very important that the user has the ability to buy those businesses that were closer to them. Okay, that you can buy, that restaurant that you go to your family, that bar that you go with your friends. So there is almost an emotional connection when you do that. It's like, oh man, I wouldn't, have dreamed that I could buy this bar, or I could buy the stadium from my club, my favorite club, for instance. You can do that over Geopoly. So I would say that we started with using the GPS, and in the middle we have the great pandemic. So we thought, you know what, we shouldn't, mandate the people to move around the city in these conditions in order to play the game, and that is why we created the exploration features, which is, you can fly a drone or you can hire a satellite. Um, and then I would say that, yeah, most of the games doesn't have that. Okay, you need to move in different ways, but I mean, in my opinion, the storytelling is not the best one. I think that could be improved. In our case, because we are a video games company creating something on blockchain and not a blockchain company trying to do a video game, for us, that's a huge difference. Okay, UX, storytelling, a great UI, eye candy, everything is super important. The game has to be engaging. Okay, you need to come back not only because you're going to play to earn, but also because the game is fun to play. And I would say that that's the biggest difference. And I'm not comparing to the other ones, okay, but I would say that that's the big difference that we have at Widow Games nowadays.
All right, that was quite a bit. I would say that in that one question, you just like took all the answers away from Augusto right there on the spot. So Upland is pretty famous. I've been in there myself a while ago. It's indeed based on reality. It's quite big actually these days. If you go to one
Yeah,
place like Staten Island or Brooklyn, for example, it's like almost every piece of land that you have in a street that can be bought basically, and then even these days you can build property as well.
exactly.
It's an interesting concept, but it's a long term project. Like building a house there, it takes like forever. So when you think about Geopoly, so you say the game already exists on Android. You're moving to iOS and now to the blockchain. Could you explain a bit about why you choose to move to the blockchain?
Okay. Do you want to take that one, Augusto? No, it's me. You're leaving the hard one for
Was
me,
your
man.
decision, not mine.
Okay, got it. I will take this one. So, and it's pretty simple, actually. It is because the blockchain, brings more value to the players. And that's the main reason. I mean, when you look at the freemium right now the freemium model is, a lot of people spending millions of dollars for something that is not really theirs. Okay, and the blockchain is solving that. So I believe that despite the fact that there will be a lot of people that is playing just to make money, and that's a reality, and it's totally fine with that. I believe that 80% of the people will actually play on the blockchain because it's fun, and it is interesting. And if you play the game well enough, you will make money. Okay, and that is totally fine. So I believe that the reason why we jump into the blockchain is because it has a lot hold more value to the users at the end of the day. So we really wanted to do that. And the other thing that I would say is that nowadays the blockchain gaming space is like a blue ocean. Okay, there's so much things that you can do there. Okay, and we do have a time frame for innovation right now. Small companies and medium companies like ours to drive innovation, to really drive innovation, because at the end of the day, let's say in 1 year, 2 years, all the big players will be here. We know that for a fact. Okay, but nowadays we, small and medium companies, we have the option to decide where the future of blockchain gaming is going to be. Okay, and I believe that this is something that we share with Augusto as well. Is we really, love to do innovative things, and nowadays blockchain is the most innovative things that you can do with a video game, for sure.
Okay, so about the game itself, I think that's going to be for Augusto. I've never played Geopoly. How would you tell me how to play the game? What do I need to start playing the game?
Okay, basically nowadays, the only thing that you need is an Android. Basically, the entire game is built in a way that you can, when you start playing the game, there are a lot of missions. We call them business objectives that will teach you how to play the game. Okay, you will start with a branch, which is basically a representation of your company. And when you in the location that you start the game, basically. So once you're in that situation, the first thing that you will do is to rent a place. Okay, we made the game in order that anyone can rent at least 6 businesses, so it is secure that you will have that possibility as well. And then you will have to improve those businesses in order to complete the task quest missions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. So, obviously, because you're moving to the blockchain, one of the primary aspects of the game is going to be NFTs. Could you explain? I don't know exactly how many NFTs are going to be, as in different types, but could you give an idea to everyone about how you're going to bring this aspect to your game, the NFTs?
Yeah, for sure. So nowadays we have 22 categories inside the game. So different kind of businesses. Just for example, bus stop. For instance, that is a transport category. You can find bars, restaurants, stadiums, banks. Those 22 categories are going to be defined as NFTs. So nowadays you can rent those places on the off-chain side of the game, but in the on-chain side of the game you will own those. So here the fact is that you will have to we will connect both economies, the off-chain side and the on-chain side. So you as an owner, you can rent that place to another player in the other side, and if you do so, you will earn tokens. So even if you have an NFT, you will earn tokens. Basically, you will earn more if you feed the market of the other side. So basically, nowadays, what we want to do with the game is the market. The market is the one that rules. Basically, it is not us. So
Okay.
basically, the main factor of the NFT is to provide buffered economics to the other side.
Okay.
So both the others.
About the locations, I see that there are like two categories on the games. There is the businesses and the special locations. Can you
Yeah.
explain what is the difference among those, and can you own both the location, or are
Yeah.
any special type of thing about it?
Yeah, the businesses are the one that will gives you basic tokens, and the other side, the off-chain side will give cash, which is basically the soft currency nowadays that runs into the game. The special locations will bust these your businesses. Okay, so you will earn more if you have associated these special locations with your businesses. That's and of course we have you will have different tiers, and that the special locations, depending on the tier, are going to affect, for instance, on your city, on your country, on your continent, or in the entire world. So that depends. It's very strategic to know where to place or where to buy those special locations, depending on the businesses that you own in the geolocation space.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm going to ask a little bit more about exploration, but I'm also going to go a little bit in depth in relation to exploration, namely because you have the branches, and for what I remember, you own a branch, someone else owns a branch, and there will be options, for example, to break in, rob, spy on the other people. For as far as I read in your website in the white paper, and you will be able to use drones for exploration, if I'm not mistaken. But you'll also be able to explore yourself. So could you explain a little bit about the use of drones, but also the exploration in the game? So basically a bit of the interaction between players, a bit of the interaction between branches, how to create that social interaction between players, and also how to move around within a geopoly world.
Yeah, sure. I can tell you about there's two different things, right? I mean, there is the exploration features, and there is the upcoming PvP that we are still, making the prototype. So, in terms of the exploration features, those are the ones who are already launched on the Android version and will be in the blockchain version for day one. And there are two types of different exploration features. You have the drones, which basically you can, wherever you are, you can drop a drone and start flying the drone across your neighborhood, looking for new opportunities. And the drone has a limited battery. So once you deploy the battery, you can relaunch the drone and continue, browsing the place. That's one. And the other one is if you want to go further, okay, let's say I'm in here in Buenos Aires and I really want to, explore Paris. It will take basically hours to get there with a drone. So basically I can hire a satellite. Okay. The satellite is basically a feature where you can find a list on, right now is more than 80 cities, okay, that we selected. It could be 80 interesting cities. I wouldn't say, the biggest city in the world. Interesting city. Like, for example, the one that I personally love is the McMurdo base in the Antarctica, for instance. Okay. It is a small city, but it's super interesting to explore. So basically, we created this list of different cities that with just one click, you will be hiring a satellite that will leave you there in the middle of the city, like if you were physically there. Okay. And once you're there, you can drop a drone and start browsing around that city. Okay. So, and going back to your first question, I would say that is something that I believe Geopoly is doing really good in terms of not locking the player in their geolocation. Okay, it's really global. It's not about some cities in the world. It's like wherever you go, you will find something to you buy. Okay, and for instance, we even created some virtual properties at the beginning in the mobile game that if you open the game in the middle of the Sahara Desert, okay, where basically you won't find anything, we created these 2 or 3 virtual properties just for the sake of letting you buy something so you can understand the core game loop of the game, okay? But it's really, really global. You can do whatever you want in any place of the world, okay? That's the exploration features. And on the other hand, what we're building right now is the PvP, because we do have this economy simulator already built, and we wanted to create something like, like Axie Infinity has, in the sense that you can have a management part of the game, but also you have a competitive part of the game. And we really wanted to have that as well, because it is a social part. For us, social, could be just chatting, could be competitive, or could be cooperative, okay? So we think, okay, if we are doing a business games, there's 2 ways that you can do businesses, okay? The good way, I will send you an offer, you can accept that or not, or the bad way of doing business, which is basically I would try to spy you and I would try to see your resources. So we are building that, and everything will be around the branches, okay? Once you play the games, you will have the ability to build a branch, place that over the map, and everyone in the game will actually see your branch, okay? The branch will give you management capacity so you can start building your real estate empire. But you will have resources there, okay? And the other players, if they want, can actually decide to attack your branch and steal those resources, okay? And obviously you need to defend those, okay? So that's the idea behind the PvP. It's going to be asynchronous PvP. You don't have to be online in order to be attacked. But when you go back online, you will see, you know what? Augusto just attacked your branch. Okay, do you want to get revenge? And most probably, 99% of the people will say, yeah, I would like to get revenge. Okay, and I will go and attack their branches as well. So we are still figuring out exactly how to do that. Okay, and which type of resources are going to be there to be stolen by other players. But definitely, it's going to be something super fun.
Okay, that there is a lot of things, and most of those things you will need to buy it or to sell it if you already own it. Can you explain how will the people on the blockchain and on the off-chain will be able to buy those NFTs?
Okay, sure.
And yeah, basically, I just wanna know, how is it possible that you buy something on the game but not on the blockchain, and vice versa?
Okay. Yeah, as Augusto mentioned, if you're playing the off-chain version of the game, you can buy hard currency in the form of golden bars. Those golden bars right now are to speed up the processes into the game, okay? Wherever you are building a new branch, wherever you are building an upgrade, it will take time. And you can speed up those processes by, buying these golden bars. Eventually, in the future, we will let players from the off-chain that have golden bars, hard currency, to exchange those for tokens in the on-chain. Okay, so that will be part of the migration flow that we will have between, if you're going to play the freemium and you want to go to the blockchain, it will be super easy. We really want to be mainstream. So the only way to be really mainstream is to go there and look for new players, not to continue offering to the same crypto players niche that we have nowadays. There's millions of players playing on the cell phones. You need to go there and create a super, a smooth flow to migrate them to the on-chain. But basically, the first part is that wherever you have something there, you can port that as token. That's the first one. And when you are on the on-chain, you can buy the tokens, okay? Or you can buy also the properties as NFTs. When you are on the off-chain, you rent the properties. But if you go to the on-chain, you buy the properties, okay? So any property in the game will have a renter and a buyer. And the same as reality, if you are the owner and someone is renting your place, you will be making more money, more tokens, okay? And than the say if the property is totally empty, okay? The same as reality. That's the idea. That is how we are going to connect the two in-game economies. And also we believe that is something, absolutely unique. It's something that doesn't exist today in the crypto space.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, and because you're explaining the part where the differences between on-chain ownership and off-chain being a rental person, that obviously also describes the aspect that when you're on the chain, obviously people can't buy your assets without your permission, because that's not how it works on the
Yeah.
blockchain unless you provide that permission and basically transact with the blockchain and say, hey, I want to sell this property. And if you don't do that, other people can't, take their hands on it. Correct?
Correct, exactly. Yeah, we know that with blockchain, I mean, nothing can be that mandatory, okay? Could be forced. So the idea is to separate those worlds, okay? There's the rental world, okay, that you can play just for the sake of fun, or if you want to do also businesses, have fun, but also make money, you can go to the blockchain version and start buying those properties, okay? And you can upgrade, even though you can upgrade those NFT as well, okay? So if you buy something cheap, you can sell that on OpenSea, with a more expensive price tag, for instance, okay, because you upgrade those. The only difference, and I would like to mention this, the only difference between the upgrades in the off-chain and on the on-chain is that the upgrades on the on-chain are infrastructure upgrades, which means they are forever. Once you upgrade an NFT, it won't go back. But if you are on the off-chain and you do an upgrade, we will call in them services upgrades. So those upgrades in the businesses as long as the renter continues to rent that place. Okay, if you leave the property, it will go back to zero. Make sense?
It sounds a little bit like when you are in real life and you rent a property, and you ask the owner, hey, can I make changes here? They'll be like, okay, you can make changes, but when you leave, you have to bring it back to the original state. A bit similar to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That we want to reflect the reality. That's the vision. That is why we call the biggest capitalist metaverse, because we really want to reflect the reality in that sense. Obviously, there's fantasy around that. The PvP will be a fantasy, but we want to reflect the reality because for us, it's the best way to explain how the game works. Okay. In every modern society, you know that if you buy a businesses and you rent that, you will be making money. Okay. And if we are running a good business, you will make an earn. Okay. And so that's I would say is the beauty of the game. We don't have to explain how it works for all the major modern societies in that sense.
So I want to know. You said that in the on chain you cannot like buy the token or set the NFT if someone doesn't want. So don't you plan to put a clause on the NFT like the player says this business is at maximum value 2 million. But I'm not selling it. So if you just wanna just pay 2 million. But then I don't know. It's like in the in the transfer market in football or anything. Some player isn't on sale, but if you pay the close, you will be getting it. So you don't plan to implement that?
It's a really good question, and to be fully honest, we haven't thought about that. So yeah, it's something interesting. We definitely need to have the discussion with the rest of the team. But no, I'm going to be honest. We haven't. For us, is in the capitalist space is that if you if you already bought something and in let's say $100, and if you really want to sell that in $10 million, yeah, it's actually up to you. Probably nobody's going to buy that because it's super expensive, but it's up to you. You can put the price that you want. We haven't, thought about limiting that for the moment, to be honest. But yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, it's something that we need to analyze as well.
Okay, thank you. I just wanna. You already answered the question I wanted to know about the chain, the on chain and the off chain. You've been talking the whole AMA about that. But now about the token, the GEOS with the dollar sign at the end, not at the beginning. What is the use of the token?
Okay. you want to take that, Pepe?
Yeah, mainly make some make the NFTs cheer up, which is basically upgrade the NFTs. Okay, of course, we will when the PvP system came out, there will have a lot more usability in terms of how can you expand those. And of course, we have some hidden features that we don't want to reveal yet.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that. So I reckon the most important question from all of the questions, I mean, where would the player be if they lose their money when they spend it on the game? So they want to make sure that their money is safe, their assets are safe, no one is mucking around with their NFTs or with their the assets that they own. So for all the smart contracts that are being made, you will have to get them audited to make sure that everything is good. So how will that be organized within GeoPoly?
Okay, yeah, we are going to have several smart contract deployed. We already deployed the one around the NFTs. Okay, it's 1155. Okay, smart contract has already been audited by Solidity Finance. Okay, so we're going to start sharing the address of the contract so anyone can actually go there and check the smart contract, whatever it's doing. And also, we already published the audit of that contract. For the tokens, smart contract is going to deploy most probably today. Okay, we are going to announce the address as well, and it has been already audited as well by Solidity Finance. Okay, we audit every contract that we make has been audited as well, and then we are deploying different smart contracts just for the vesting. Okay, for the private VC as well. Another one for the claiming the tokens. Okay, once you have been best, and correct me, Pepe.
The stacking one.
Perhaps which one is a second one, right?
The stacking one.
The stacking. We are going to have a stacking as well. Okay, we will plan to do that as soon as possible after the TGE. Okay, so if you buy the tokens at the beginning, the reality is that they won't have any utility because the game hasn't been launched. So we are planning to release a stacking system so you can stack your token as well. But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, for us, it's extremely important. We have been developing video games for more than 9 years. So believe me when I said that we know about, try a lot of people trying to hack your system. Okay, we learn the hard way. And the good thing about blockchain is that it's super transparent. If you have your smart contract deployed, you tell the world the address and they can check that out. But also we audit all the smart contract that we deploy. So yeah, basically we are super transparent and we are super aware of the people is playing with money at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think that we covered most of the things, so now we can go with the community questions. And thank you for answering. And so everyone, just go ahead and ask whatever you want. And before I forget, there will be a giveaway. If the giveaway is about 7,500 Geos token, Sebastian will share the link, or I think he already shared on the chat. So just go ahead and click on the Gleam, and winners will be announced in a few days. So start with the question, Sebastian. Okay, so Rajesh. Okay, go ahead, Marcus.
How will you regulate property prices, as early players will have advantage because they may get properties in cheap prices? I'd say market working, but you guys go ahead and explain this question.
Yeah, depends on which side of the economy we are talking about. Of course, so for the NFTs, we will have a season system basically. What we want is to do not drop down the prices of of the existing NFTs. So the amount of new mint businesses would be limited by us every season. So what we are trying to do is to have a predictive system in understanding how many buyers there will be for the next season, and then set the amount of new minting uh, NFTs. So basically, the market is the one that rules here, as you mentioned, Marcus. For the other side of the chain, of course, depends on the demand of the NFTs, but also depends on how many properties available to rent them. So basically, we are connected to the Foursquare database. Foursquare offers us more than 5 million different businesses. So for those that are NFTs, of course, they will um, offer more currency and more benefits. But if not, there is something that we call standard market, that it is the ones that we control. Of course, not all those 5 millions businesses are going to be NFT, as I mentioned before, because we are going to control that, to sustain the current prices, and cap, of course, the new minting on the creation of new NFTs. So basically, yeah, Martin.
No. I just Philip, sorry. It's just I want to add the thing about the controlling the auctions as well, which is very important to control the price of the NFTs. I don't want. Do you want to? Should I? Okay. No. The only thing that I wanted to mention is that when you are selling an NFT, okay, let's say you already buy an NFT, you want to sell that to another player, and the same goes if you have a property in the off chain and you want to sell that, you will be starting an auction for 24 hours. Okay, so let's say you are selling something in $1,000 and someone is want to offer 10 million. That's okay, the crazy numbers. Okay, that won't happen. Okay, we control the auctions in a way that every time you make a bid, you can actually bid. I believe the top, the maximum is
25%.
around 25%. Okay, because we learned that that's the way that people will actually want to go. Okay, not just one crazy dude buying the auction from the start. Okay, everyone has the possibility to make a bidding auction. Okay, so we are going to establish that, and that's another way that we implement it to control the final prices over the NFTs and properties as well. But as Augusto mentioned, the amount of NFTs in the metaverse are going to be limited, and we really want to increase the value over the NFTs in the long term.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay, thank
Thanks. Do we have another question? Sebastian, who's working hard in the back. Oh my gosh, this guy is really active.
Rajesh asked, there are so many similar games with superior graphics like SimCity 4. How do you plan to stand out? I don't think that SimCity 4 is on the blockchain, but can you please answer?
Yeah, basically.
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course, we are not making a 3D with buildings and just like representing the entire city in the way that SimCity 4 does. Basically, that's not the main idea. Of course, it should be cool having something like that, but basically we'll still define in the map that we want to use. For instance, there are some very good providers. We know about the Google Maps technology that it is making something specific for games. We already test that. The only factor is that for mobile, for instance, it is very difficult to handle because The 3D and the GPS, it is not a good mix because you will lose the position of the player, and it is very difficult to represent some things in 3D buildings that already exist. But yeah, we try to make something like SimCity 4 or those kind of games. It is very difficult in order to make the user understand what they are looking for. That's the only issue. But yeah, we will see
Yeah,
who says.
yeah, but yeah, Augusto is being super humble. But the reality is that we have great, a great team on place, and I
Yeah, for
believe
sure.
that again. I hate comparisons, but I believe that we are going to do an amazing job as we are doing right now on the off chain to create a the most beautiful game, the most beautiful estate game in a cartoonish way. Okay, we are not going to be Blocktopia, for instance. We are not going to be Cyberpunk. Okay, you're not going to find that on GeoPoly. It's going to be cartoonish. It's going to be fun. It's going to be low poly. And believe me, it's going to be beautiful. Okay, don't take my word for that. Okay, just go to the Android, go to Google Play, download the game, and you can test that out. But I mean, I believe that we are going to be, even better than SimCity, even though I'm a huge fan of SimCity. Okay, I'm a lover of the SimCity, but I think that we can create something greater than that.
Can we play on what was the thing to play on PC? Will we be able to play on PC, or we just
Yeah,
have to put the Android thing on the PC? I don't remember how to do it, but
no,
I
no,
know you
no.
can do it.
There are going to be bills, separate bills, okay, for Android and for PC, and it's true that in when you are on Android and iOS, you do have hardware limitation in terms of showing 3D buildings and everything else. But in PC you have greater hardware. So I believe that now that we are building the PC version, we will have the ability to show even more polished 3D buildings and so on. But yeah, you will be able to play on the PC.
Okay,
But
so
answering to you, Jorge, for instance, if you don't have an Android nowadays, you can download BlueStacks, and
yeah, that's it.
the game runs on a Android emulator. So, if you don't have a device, an Android device, so yeah. But
Okay, thank you.
the desktop version will be launched in the next
Okay, so now
month.
Sebastian, our dear Sebastian, asked, what are your future plans for Geopoly?
Okay, so we do have a very, comprehensive roadmap. Now we are working. Actually, we launched the interactive marketplace for the game. That will be, like a small sample of the final game that we have already in Geopoly IO, and we are studying the pre-sale of the NFTs for. Correct me if I'm wrong. Augusto is for Saturday, right?
I think that it is the 12th
The 12th. Okay,
on,
perfect.
yeah,
So
Sunday.
So we are going to start, offering NFTs. We are launching INOs with three different launchpads. Okay, so they can, they're offering right now NFTs for their community as well. That's the first part. Then we are going to release the alpha version of the game in the first Q next year. Okay, only for NFT holders. Okay, that will be the next alpha version. It's going to be for PC and Mac as well, PC and Mac. And then we are going to, deploy what we call the auctions. We are going to finalize the PvP. There's so many things that we are doing, next year. But the final game, we are planning to release it for between Q3 and Q4 next year. Most probably, we're going to deliver sooner, but really wanted to play safe. So I would, try. I would prefer to say, Q3, but the idea is to try to release it sooner.
Okay, thank you. Do we have
So
any more
that's it. Then we have
questions?
another question from HC here. Is your app
Yeah.
suitable for crypto beginners? That's a good question. Or is it only limited to professional users? How can I get a tutorial about Joply? So in my opinion, here it would be good to describe a little bit about custodial and non-custodial wallet in relation to beginners.
Yeah, that's an awesome question because it's part of the hypothesis that we have that you can be mainstream being a crypto game. And the fact that we already have a mobile game in place that actually have thousands of users is the first step to do that. We created first the mobile game on the freemium, on the off-chain, and then we create the blockchain game. Okay, so the idea here is that if you're playing the off-chain game, it will be super easy to jump into the blockchain game because, for instance, when you're playing on Android and iOS, you're using your Facebook, your Gmail account, your Twitter account, any type of social login. The idea is when you go to the blockchain version of the game, you can use those same credentials if you want to open automatically a custodian wallet. Okay, you don't have to know anything around MetaMask. Okay, you don't have to write any 12 words or anything like that. We'll be implementing a layer 2 service where you can create your wallet using your social account. Okay, that will be super easy. It will be a smooth process, so you don't have to know anything around blockchain in order to start having those NFTs, collecting those tokens at the first time, and then doing businesses on the blockchain. You don't have to be an expert at all.
Okay, thank you. We go with the last question. By Alejandro asked, how is the Pokemon Go aspect implemented? Do we need to share location? Because in Pokemon Go, you need to share location.
Yeah, for Android and iOS, yes, it is mandatory. For PC, it doesn't. Basically, yeah, that's that.
Okay.
And of course, the main aspect, about the Pokemon Go. As Martin mentioned, we want the game being playable in any side, in any parts of the world, even if you are in the Sahara Desert. So basically, the main aspect are those you can walk around the city, you can walk around or you can travel to other parts of the world even if you are not there, and that's something, for instance, that Pokemon doesn't provide. Of course, we don't want to talk bad about other projects, but yeah, the main situation it is that making some exercise if you're in a device, but if you don't want to, okay, that's okay.
Related to this, do we need to do KYC to play? No. Okay.
No, you don't need.
Okay, so this one is going to be the last question. I think that we are already been 49 minutes in. So Rajesh asked, will you be integrating fiat payment system for off-chain players?
Yeah, it already exists, and of course, as Martin mentioned, we will make an exchange between the hard currency that you pay in fiat with the token, to be able to move people from the off-chain to the on-chain.
All right, cool. So now we have finished our last question. I would like to ask to both of you, do you feel like you've missed something? You might have thought, okay, we've asked a few questions from the start until now, and do you guys feel like, okay, actually there was a question I would like to add something, or perhaps there's something that I would like to add in general, or perhaps you feel like there's like a question that you wish it was asked, but it hasn't been asked, and you really have like an answer ready for it. So share it with us.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I would like to highlight one point that I believe that make us, especially in a way that, again, we are not a blockchain company trying to do a video games. We're a video games company creating a blockchain layer on top of the already successful game. Okay, and that I believe that is is very special right nowadays in this environment. And the other thing is that we have a great team of advisors, because honestly, this is the first blockchain project that we are doing. So we took our time to select the best advisors possible in this industry. And to give you one name, for instance, Sebastian Borget, the CEO from Sandbox, is actually an advisor from us. He started last week with us. So and it's for us it's an honor to have one of the biggest blockchain games ever. To have him on board on the GeoPoly team. To help us driving this migration. But we're also chiming in new members into the board that come from the freemium, because we really want to try to drive those benefits from the freemium space that is way more competitive than the blockchain gaming right now. Okay, we really wanted to bring them on because we want to bring great UX experiences to the blockchain gaming. We really want to drive great UI. It's project like Illuvium, for instance. They are doing amazing things. They haven't launched, but for everything that they are showing, it's amazing. And when you see, the team, almost everyone comes from the other side, the freemium part. So we really want to take that road and to bring all the value that we already deployed on the freemium to the blockchain. And I would say that it is a huge difference from Widow Games, not only for GeoPoly, but for the rest of the project that we are already planning to launch, in the next months.
Yeah, I think what you're explaining is really important these days. So what we have a lot until now, I would say probably 95% or 90% is that games are built for coiners at the moment, but we need games that are built for gamers, and
Amen.
that's where true adoption of the blockchain will start. Once we are ready for that, then people from outside of the world will start coming into the blockchain all really fast. I mean, you can see now I think there's a big companies now. I believe it was Ubisoft who recently announced that they're jumping on the blockchain.
Exactly.
So that's a big step,
Exactly.
and the other ones will follow as well. And they have gamers behind them. They don't have coiners behind them. We don't need coiners in games. We need gamers in games. So
exactly.
I'm really looking forward to that point to happen.
Totally. It reminds me when I believe it's 1 year and a half ago when I tried to play the first blockchain game in my life, and I've been playing games since I can hardly remember. And to be honest, I couldn't find a way because actually the game, it was a super popular game that obviously I'm not going to mention. But the first thing that I saw is connect your wallet. And I thought, what the heck are you talking about? What is a wallet? I have no idea what you're talking about. And I couldn't even play the game, So that is crazy. That is not going to happen anymore. We need to adapt ourselves. We cannot talk only the crypto language. We need to adapt to the player language, and believe me, it's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. And we will change. All right.
So I think we can finish the AMA here. Thank you for coming. I would love to be. We love you to be here. So for everyone watching, don't forget about the giveaway. Sebastian already put it on the chat, and there is also a tweet about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us. It helps us a lot. And if nothing has to be said, Marcus, Martin, Augusto, I think we can finish it here. And see you next time. And thanks for coming again.
Okay. Thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Bye bye.
See ya. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.